A legendary king, a powerful wizard, and a castle perched on the Atlantic Ocean. Welcome to Tintagel Castle, a place where history and myth collide and where one of Britain's greatest stories is said to have begun.
Good morning and welcome to day 3. ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಟೈರ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ವಿ ನೆನ್ನೆ ಕಾರ್ನ್ವಾಲ್ ಸುತ್ತಿ. ಇವತ್ತು ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಕ್ಯಾರವನ್ ಚೆಕ್ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ವಿ ಅರೈವ್ಡ್ ಆಟ್ Tintagel and we are about to see Tintagel Castle. So it's a bit of a steep climb. So we are getting down, very steep.
Before we even reached the castle, one thing became clear. This wasn't built for comfort, it was built for power. Perched high above the Atlantic Ocean, surrounded by rugged cliffs and crashing waves, Tintagel feels less like a castle and more like a fortress at the edge of the world. And standing here, it's easy to understand why legends were born in places like this. Because some landscapes don't look dramatic, they feel magical.
We've arrived at Tintagel Castle. ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಗಾಳಿಗಿದೆ. And it is believed, as per the legend, that King Arthur was conceived here. ಇದನ್ನು ನೋಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಜನ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. And we have to go all the way up that small hill there. And to do so, ನಾವು ಇವಾಗ ಬ್ರಿಡ್ಜ್ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಬೇಕು. ಬ್ರಿಡ್ಜ್ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋದರೆ we will be able to see the castle. Come on, let's go.
If you've heard of Tintagel before, chances are it's because of one name, King Arthur. According to medieval legend, this is where Arthur was born. The story tells of a powerful king named Arthur Pendragon, a wizard named Merlin, and a mysterious knight that would eventually lead to the birth of Britain's most famous legendary ruler. Now here's where things get interesting. Historians still debate whether Arthur was a real person, a combination of several historical figures, or simply a legend that grew over time. But that's exactly what makes Tintagel so fascinating. Because this isn't just a castle, it's one of the few places where myth and history live side by side. As you walk these cliffs, you begin to understand why people believed extraordinary stories could happen here. If there was ever a place that looked like it belonged in a legend, it's this. One of the most unforgettable moments of visiting Tintagel is crossing the bridge. Suspended high above the sea, it reconnects the mainland with the island where the castle stands today. Centuries ago, a narrow strip of land naturally linked the two. But time, wind, and waves slowly wore its way. Now, as you walk across the Atlantic crashing beneath your feet, it feels less like crossing a bridge and more like stepping into a story. But here's something many people don't realize. Tintagel's story didn't begin with King Arthur. In fact, the site was important centuries before the medieval castle was built. Archaeologists have discovered evidence showing that this was once a wealthy settlement connected to trade routes stretching across Europe. Items from the Mediterranean have been found here, suggesting that people lived on these remote Cornish cliffs once were connected to a much larger world than we can imagine. Think about this for a moment. More than 1,000 years ago, ships were arriving here carrying goods from distant lands. On cliffs that today feel like the edge of the world, suddenly Tintagel isn't just a legend. It's a reminder that Cornwall has always been connected to stories far beyond its coastline.
If you can't tell, it's actually very windy right now. Oh my god. People are literally having their hats blown off It's absolutely windy.
When we arrived at Tintagel, we came looking for a castle. But what we found was something much bigger. A place where history becomes legend, where ruins become stories, and where every cliff, cave, and crashing wave feels like part of an ancient tale that's being told. Whether King Arthur was real or not, one thing is certain. Places like this remind us why legends endure. Because sometimes the most powerful stories aren't the ones we can prove, they are the ones we can choose to believe. And standing here on the Cornish coast, it's not difficult to see why people have believed in this one for centuries.